and welcome to today's Ask Barn2 Anything Q&A session.
Hello. I'm Sam, and Katie and I are going to go through quite a few questions today. In case you're wondering, there are 24 registrants for this webinar or pre-sales call, whatever you want to call it. And most of you guys left questions for us. So we have quite a few to get through. We're promised we will try to get through all of them in less than an hour. That is our goal. And we will also be taking live questions if you guys are here joining us live, just like John is, who's saying hi already. Hi, nice to see you here, John. Thanks for joining us
John.
live.
So let's start with some company news then. So it's been a very busy month because 10 of our 17 team members went to the WordCamp Asia conference in Manila, Philippines. Sadly, Sam didn't get to go, so he's going to feel very left out with the photos I'm about to share. But here are 10 of us, not Sam, at WordCamp Asia. So it was really nice. We all work remotely from home, like most WordPress companies these days. So we don't get to see each other very often. It was really nice. And we did things like escape rooms together, which we failed to escape from, and went out for a nice meal and generally hung out together. So that was really good. And I did a talk as well, and my talk was about our journey at Barn2 of transitioning from a WordPress agency where we built websites for clients into the WordPress plugin company that we are now. So if you want to watch my talk, then it's on YouTube on the WordCamp. What's the channel? It's the WordPress YouTube channel on WordCamp Asia Day 3, but you have to go 2 hours 17 minutes into that video because it's like the stream for the entire day. So if you skip to 2 hours 17, then you can watch my talk. So that's the main company news. And I suppose I should say thank you to your patience to all of you, because so we have 8 support team members, and I think 7 of them were at the conference. So that meant that the rest of the team, such as Sam, our resident YouTuber, had to jump in and do support. So that was a busy time for you and the developers and our QA tester, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I gained absolutely a new respect for our support team. So well done. You guys are awesome. In case you ever watch this video, we absolutely love you guys.
Yeah. So we're very grateful the rest of the team could jump in so that the support team could have fun in Manila. So yeah, but obviously that led to some disruption and delay. You're all figuring out the usual things. So that's really good. So the other piece of company news, if you follow me on Twitter or X, then you would know that we as a company are planning to expand into Shopify. So currently we only sell WordPress and WooCommerce plugins, and we are planning to start selling Shopify apps as well. And we're currently building our first app, which is going to be a discount app. So a bit like our WooCommerce Discount Manager plugin, but specifically focusing on creating quantity-based bulk discounts, which you can display in the front end. So it will look a bit like this. So here on the right of this product page, you can see discount bundles, where you can buy 1 product for the usual price, buy 2 for a discounted price, and so on. So we're going to add that as a way for Shopify merchants to increase their average order value and sell more. And it's also going to have a tiered discount option, which is designed for larger bulk discounts, which is a feature we have in our WooCommerce Discount Manager plugin. So you see the blue table on the right where it tells you if you buy this amount, then you can get this discount, and it encourages the user to buy more. So that is in development, and at the moment what I'm doing is looking for people who are willing to beta test it when we get to that stage. So if you use Shopify and you would be willing to test our app and feedback on it so that we can make it as good as it can be for when it's finally launched, then please get in touch via our support center on our website, and we'd be really grateful for your input on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, already have a question.
Okay.
Will there be an option to get a discount if you buy 2 different products? Meaning, within the Shopify discount app.
Oh, yes. Is that about Shopify or about us now? You're right. I don't know.
I imagine it just because of the timing of this comment, that's what it is about.
I'll answer both. Yeah, with the Shopify app, then absolutely, yeah, you can create all sorts of discounts based on quantity like that. But she says about Woo. So with our, there's also 2 ways I could answer that. So with our WooCommerce Discount Manager plugin, yes, it has that feature. And if she's talking about buying multiple plugins from Barn2, then each plugin, if you go to the plugin sales page, it's available on its own or as a 2 plugin bundle. And so the 2 plugin bundle basically gives you a 50% discount on the second plugin, but you don't get to choose what that plugin is. We have handpicked which plugins are the most popular together. So that's the only way to get a discount on 2 plugins from us, if you choose the 2 plugin bundle on the sales page. And if you want more than 2 plugins, then it very soon becomes cost effective to buy our all access pass, which is all of our plugins for one price, which gives you, it's something like 85% discount compared to buying all of our plugins individually. So that's a much cheaper way if you want several plugins.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Awesome. All right, let's get into the first of the present comments. And one of them is actually, oops, I'll just find that now. Left the wrong, went into the wrong folder here. This one.
Yep. So WP Lift are a very well-known WordPress-related blog. They've got all sorts of useful content and tutorials about how to do things in WordPress, WordPress news, lots about our plugins. So thank you for that. And so yeah, you're very welcome to cover this live stream on your site. We do them every month, so you could embed the YouTube directly in your site as news or something, and you could also promote them before they happen to encourage people to sign up. So we'd really appreciate anything you can do to spread the word about this and future live streams.
Awesome. All right. And is there anything else, Katie, or should we just jump into Document Library Pro then?
I thought we were doing Product Table first, but yes.
Oh, sorry. I meant Product Table. That's what I meant to say. We can jump into that, and I will see if finally my computer is working with the presentation. So let's just tentatively try that.
Yeah, we have an ongoing curse with Sam and
working.
screen sharing, which is fixed.
Woo!
Yeah, so last
Apparently restarting your
several
computer
months.
does help.
Yeah.
Cool. Katie, I'll ask you to jump on the banners there. Thank you so much. This is our WooCommerce Product Table plugin, and it is definitely one of our most popular plugins in terms of because it can just rearrange and help to display your products in a different way. It could do that on your shop page, category pages, or any custom page that you set up. You can add products and all kinds of different columns into the table, which can show things like prices, descriptions of the products. And the best thing is that it also includes selection boxes for variable products, for example, and quantity pickers. And then if you want to select a bunch of products at once, you can use these checkboxes to do so. And you can even see the total price up here when you want to add all of those items to your cart. So probably our favorite customers, customers who like this the most, are the ones who are selling in bulk, wholesale, this kind of thing, because their customers can come in, collect all the items that they want, and add them all at once to their cart using this button. So that's a quick overview of the plugin. Of course, there are many more features, including the filters, and you can even include search as well. Search, or am I hallucinating?
Yeah, someone just raised that in our Slack channel that the search box has disappeared from our demo site. But yes, it should have a search box above that, and we will fix that very soon. So yeah, that was literally discovered about an hour ago that had hidden itself.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Let's get into the first question.
Okay, so with the first question, this is from Amy. Is there a feature to display the total cost as the customer adds items in a build your own kit rather than going to the cart? So Sam, could you select a few products, change some quantities and that kind of thing? And what we can do, see at the top of the table, you've got an add 4 items to cart for, too small on my screen to see what the price is.
Now it's add 7 items for $128.50.
Yeah, so this is a feature we added, maybe 6 months ago to the plugin where, yes, exactly as Amy's described, as the customer selects things, then they can see the total price. And she gave a bit of a reason for that. She said, meaning if they add a $2.50 item, but that puts them over budget, they can remove it and add something at a lower cost. Exactly. So they can see the total that they're ordering before they add it to the cart. And then, as Sam's doing, he can easily remove items and spend what they want to spend. So yes, it absolutely
And
does
there's
do that.
one other small thing that's not on this demo, but we can actually add a total column for each individual item. So for each line or each row, it can have its own total. So if you're ordering 3 items at $25, the total column will show you 75, whereas this button will show you everything you've added to your order so far, added together. So the total column adds it per line, and then the button at the top adds everything together at once.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
All
so
right.
let's move on to Document Library Pro then. So Document Library Pro is probably our most popular plugin at the moment, and I will show it to you before we get to the questions. So Document Library Pro looks kind of like Product Table that we just saw, but this is specific to displaying, managing, and giving people access to documents or any other type of resource on a WordPress site. So the table view, like Product Table, it has all your filters, your structured data, just like we just saw, but it is specific to documents in that we've got download buttons here. And we've also got document previews, which people can click on to preview a document without downloading it. You can multi-select documents, this time in order to download them as a zip file. So it's all about what people need to create an online resource library. It also has other views. So here we've got the folder view, which reflects the folder structure on your computer. So like in Windows Explorer or something like that. And so a lot of larger organizations particularly like that for displaying documents in a folder structure. And we've also got a more visual grid, which I've noticed this is more popular with like craft type websites that are doing more visual documents where they want each one to have a bit more of a showcase, really, with maybe a larger image, or it could be a large file type icon if you prefer. So each document just takes up a bit more space, but you still get the benefit of those search and filters as well. So let's move on to the questions about this plugin then.
Cool. Yeah, we'll bring up Joshua's question first. He has a few questions, actually. So Joshua wants to know, what is the best way to batch import so WordPress can see the PDFs and documents, can get the CSV data? And he had one more follow-up question. We'll get to that later. Okay, cool. So batch importing. Now, I'm trying to figure out kind of exactly how to answer this question because it could be interpreted a few ways. But basically, what we discussed before, right, Katie, is about. I've lost.
Do you want me to do it?
Now. Yeah, I've kind of lost my way on where the discussion was.
Okay, so with in batch importing, well, I think that with importing, so Document Library Pro has a CSV upload feature. It also has other ways to upload documents, like you can just drag and drop a file into the WordPress admin and that will create your document for the library. But with the CSV upload, you prepare a CSV file with all the data about each document and then you upload it. And Joshua's mentioned doing it in batches, which isn't really necessary unless you've got a really terrible host and many thousands of documents. You should be fine just doing one CSV, or you can create multiple CSVs and upload them in batches as needed. It doesn't really matter. And at the point where you upload that CSV, then Document Library will create each row of the CSV file into a separate document.
Yeah, there are a lot of different fields that you can add to your CSV document. And so what we suggest you do is download the sample CSV and then you can fill in the data from there. Or if you already have an existing one, you can actually just map the items to the CSV. So you can map the name field to whatever column you have and whatever name of that column is. So it gets a little technical, but basically you can just copy what you have in your CSV into the document importer. And then I was going to say in regards to that, yeah, you shouldn't have to batch import, but you could also make multiple CSV files if you're worried about performance or something. And then the next question he had was here. Let's go to Joshua's one.
I think we're on Jeff's. Or
Oh, okay, so we jump to Jeff's then.
I
Okay.
don't know. So
They're both about the same topic, so let's
they
stay with
are,
that.
aren't they? I'm getting lost. Yeah.
Yeah, let's stay with
So
this topic. So I can answer this one from Jeff.
okay.
Yeah. So Jeff wants to know. Looks like I would need to bulk import them. Oh, that's the second part of his question. No, no, that is.
I
What is?
think he's referring to the actual document files, because obviously you can't attach a file
Here it
to a
is.
CSV. So yeah, you would need to put the files wherever they're going to be, which might be the media library. It might just be your website's file system via FTP. So it might be in a Dropbox or somewhere. It doesn't have to be on your website. So put the document files wherever they will be, and then add those URLs to your CSV, along with, what did Jeff say? Categories, tags, excerpts, all of that. So everything, including the URL, goes in that CSV.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that Jeff wants to know about if he can use the CSV bulk upload for documents already in the media library. And the answer is kind of. If you have the file URLs, you can add them to the CSV and then they can be added as documents. But if you're talking about sort of migrating media file items, media library items into documents, then it doesn't really work with the CSV process, right? That's
No, I'm just, yeah,
uh,
that's interesting. It's about the document files, isn't it? I'm just going to share my screen
uh-huh.
again,
Yeah.
because it may be that he doesn't need to do the CSV. CSVs are kind of fiddly. You need
Mhm.
to do a lot of very accurate data to get it right. So if they're already in the media library, then what you can do is tick the documents that are documents, so not your blog post images or whatever, but your PDFs or something. And then we've got this bulk actions drop down, and you see here we've got an add to document library option in the bulk actions. So you can just do that. And when you do that and you click apply, it will then add them to the documents section of the admin. And it will create, you can see various people testing have uploaded it from our front end, but anyway, so it will create the file name as the title, and then you can go into it and edit any other data, like the document name, and the excerpt is down here and so on. So you can then manually add any extra information. But if you want to do it as a CSV upload, then I'd suggest creating, if you need to do the data in bulk, then do the CSV, including the URL from the media library.
Well, speaking of which, Katie, we did discuss also WP sync sheets for this question.
Yes.
I have
So
that on my screen now.
yeah, okay. So I need to stop sharing then. Right.
That's all right.
So another option for uploading and updating documents in future is to use Document Library Pro with the WP Sync Sheets plugin. And they very kindly have integrated the two and created an add-on just for our customers, so that basically you would have a Google Sheet all the time, which has all your document data. So whenever you want to update a document or its URL, then you just update it in this spreadsheet, and that will automatically push it through to your WordPress site. So for future updates or adding new documents, you can just do that instead of the CSV upload.
And the great thing is, I already made a video about this, so you don't have to, painfully go through the instructions one by one. You can actually watch the video and follow along nicely.
Yeah.
All right. And we can move on to Joshua's follow-up question, which is about some other plugin, I think.
Oh yeah, the Relevanssi one. Yeah. Okay. So that was, is there a way to have Relevanssi PDF content search play nice with Document Library? So Relevanssi is an advanced WordPress search plugin. And unlike the search that comes with WordPress itself, or indeed Document Library Pro, it allows you to search the content of PDFs. So if you've got a document library which has PDF downloads in it, then the search that comes with our plugin won't look in the content of those PDFs. Whereas in theory, Relevanssi could. But the problem is that Relevanssi doesn't integrate with Document Library Pro. And we haven't done that because while Relevanssi is a popular plugin, we can only choose one of each category to integrate with realistically. And so instead, we chose to integrate with Search WP, and I've just put a link to them on. So if you have Search WP on your site and you enable the PDF search facility, that will work with the search box in Document Library Pro. But sadly, we haven't done that work to also do it with Relevanssi. So I'm sorry about that, and hope that Search WP is a good alternative for you. We use it on our own site, actually. So if you go to our knowledge base and play around with search, that's powered with Search WP.
All right. I have a question from Joseph. Oh, did you already answer this question?
No, are we pressing the same thing?
Yeah, probably.
No. Yeah, we're overriding each other's caption.
Oh, that's right. It's you next with this one.
Okay, so Andrew says, is there a way to display recently viewed documents? Sadly, there isn't, because Document Library Pro doesn't record that data about who's viewing it. It displays the total download count, so you could sort by that, but not by recently viewed. So I'll put that on our feature requests, but unfortunately, no, there isn't a way to do that at the moment. I've just got a follow-up from Jeff, who says, thank you. He didn't know about sync sheets, but can look into it. Much appreciated. So hopefully that was helpful.
Nice. Yeah, and Joseph wants to know how this plugin integrates with other plugins such as BuddyBoss and LearnDash. So BuddyBoss and LearnDash are, separate plugins, third-party plugins, and they have their own functions and purposes. So I believe you were mentioning, Katie, BuddyBoss is for having a private area on your site.
Yeah, it's kind of an online community. Think Facebook, but your WordPress website with Facebook's features.
Yeah, and the basic answer is you can use the short code for Document Library Pro to display the documents anywhere on your site. Like if you're already running BuddyBoss or LearnDash on your site, you can also use the Document Library Pro shortcode, and you can modify the shortcode to show different documents, different styles of the table. But ultimately, using the shortcode option is the easiest way to display it anywhere on your site, even within those private areas. So it's not so much of an integration, but rather just a catch-all solution for using Document Library Pro on any kind of site.
Yeah, and quite a lot of people do use it with LearnDash or other learning management plugins like Lifter LMS and so on. And what they do is they use it to add like a resource section to the end of a course. So they might add an additional lesson to the end of a course called resources or learning materials or anything. And you can just put the short code wherever you want within a lesson, and then people can find that information.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to a question from Amanda for Katie. Interested in tips on how to customize landing pages for documents.
Yep, so each document comes with a page which allows you to view that document in the front end. So actually, to explain what that means, I'll just do a quick screen share. Not everybody actually uses this front end single document page. They might just choose to have the library page, which is fine with the download buttons and so on. So, but if you want, then you can have the title clickable here, or you can actually add a button column as well, where you can display basically more information about the document. So you can add lots of information. You could even embed something in this space if you wanted, like, you know, those flipbook plugins that allow you to have a flipbook of your PDF or something. You could actually even embed that here. And it comes in this 2-column layout. So Amanda's question is about how to modify this layout so that it doesn't look quite like this. So to do that, you just need to do a bit of custom coding. And this knowledge base article that I've just put on the screen has a section on it which gives you things like CSS selectors, which you can use to customize the single document page. If you just need a couple of really minor styling tweaks, then we could do that for you as part of our standard plugin support. Or if you want something more significant, then we offer a plugin customization service where we could send you a quote for creating a more bespoke single document page layout.
Awesome. All right. And yet again, we have more questions about Document Library Pro. You guys really love this plugin today. So I'm going to bring up this question from Paul. How many items can Document Library Pro display on screen at one time when it's in a folder-based view? So let me just go back to the demo for. Oh, you have the demo for the folder view. Can you bring
Yeah, I
that up?
can do that. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I'm currently on the wrong page, but I will move. So back here, let's go to a dedicated page for folder view. So this is the folder view. You can select the folders to be opened by default if you prefer. So basically there's no limit. You can have as many as you want. You could have loads and loads of documents, and each one of these document libraries, you can have pagination, so you can structure it into multiple pages. So as much as you want, really.
Yeah, if you
And
have more than 500 documents in the library, which would be loaded into this table, although folder view, I'm not sure how the loading works, but
yeah, can you see
basically
when I
you
click on it,
can.
it's displaying a little spinner, and that means that the folders are loading by Ajax. So when the page first loads, the documents in every folder are not loading, so it's not going to crash your site.
Yeah, well, that makes it simpler then. Yeah, because there are some limits that we've set by default in the plugin, like I think 500 documents, just to not overload the website in case you have thousands. But these can also be overridden, or depending on your situation, you can change that. But because it's in folder view, it's essentially a form of lazy load where it only loads in things one folder at a time. So
Yeah.
but in terms of how many you can fit on a page, I think that's just down to the settings of the site, the theme, as well as the whatever somebody's viewing it on. So if they're viewing it on a mobile device, they'll only see a few things. But if they're viewing it on a large desktop, then they can see a lot more, unless I'm misinterpreting the question. Yeah, that's how I read it.
Yeah, I think we've covered all the different ways you could read it, hopefully, but let us know if not.
Cool. All right, and this is for you, Katie.
So Scott wants to know about license key management with local and staging sites for Document Library Pro. So I'm not going to remember the entire list, but basically our single site licenses will work on any number of local sites. It will detect it's local and it will just work. There's no limitation there. And with staging sites which are hosted online, then our licensing system looks for things like staging in the URL or dev, or there are common things that most people use for their staging sites. So if it uses any of those, then it will just work and allow you to activate it. Even though it's a single site license, it will let you activate it on those staging sites. And if you've got a different structure, then you can contact our support and ask for it to be enabled on an additional install, because it's just a staging site, so we don't expect you to be paying for additional licenses.
Awesome. All right, I think we did it, Katie. I think we got through all the preset questions for Document Library Pro. Of course, though, if you're watching live and you have another question, we would love to hear from you. So yeah, jump in. But otherwise, I'm going to jump in and start introducing our next plugin, which is WooCommerce Bulk Variations. So Bulk Variations takes this idea that there are some combinations of attributes to create variable products, which are better displayed in a grid layout. So take, for example, this t-shirt product where you have the sizes and the colors. So you can display these in a matrix vertically and horizontally. When combined together, you can create this kind of ordering form where somebody could say order 2 of each of the red shirts in all the sizes, or 2 of just a single size, but in all of the colors. And it makes the ordering of multiple different variations much, much faster. Because if you can imagine the original way it's set up, you'd have to go through the drop-down list and then click add to cart, and then go through the drop-down list again twice, and then add to cart, and so on and so forth. Now, this can be extended even to more variations depending on what you need. So I'll just head back to this hoodie. So instead of 2 attributes, you can even have 4 attributes, for example. Again, we have the sizes on the left, colors on the top, but we can also add more drop-downs for the style and logo options. So it can be extended to more than just 2 attributes, but again, it does speed up the process of ordering on the front end. Now, I don't have the page for this, but on the back end of this plugin also does something quite clever, where it allows you to filter and group by attribute. So if you want to update the prices of just the yellow hoodies, for example, you can filter all of the yellow items and you can update the prices. Or probably more realistically, you want to update the price of a certain size. So again, you can group all of the items in the back end by the extra small size, and then you can increase or decrease the price just for those items that fit that particular attribute, which basically makes the idea of updating variable products much, much quicker. So that's WooCommerce Bulk Variations, kind of something on the front end, something on the back end, saves you heaps of time.
Yeah, and our question about this plugin from Seba is, I use WooCommerce Bulk Variations. Is there a way to configure a product bundle, also integrating another one of your plugins? Yeah, so you're right. You would need to use another of our plugins for this. Probably 2 options you could choose from. We've already talked about WooCommerce Product Table, which lets you create a table listing any of your products. So you could, let's say in the short description of a product page, create a product table which lists a specific range of products, maybe 5 products. You don't want loads because it's just a bundle, isn't it? And so you could do that, and then people could tick the products that they want and add them to their cart. So it's like creating a bundle. But my preferred option would probably be WooCommerce Product Options, which we're actually going to cover next anyway. So I'm going to move on to our next plugin and answer Seba's question as part of the overall introduction for that plugin. So we'll go to WooCommerce Product Options next. Just resizing my screen, that's better. So WooCommerce Product Options is basically a vast improvement on variations, because it lets you add much more visual and flexible options to your product pages. So let's go to this necklace product first, where it's added a checkbox. That's from our plugin. And you can use conditional logic, that's certainly not part of WooCommerce, to show and hide options based on the user's selections. And then we've got all these much more visually appealing options than what you know from variation drop-downs. So we've got images you can click on, and color swatches, and text boxes, and all sorts of different types of option, which you can use to add more information for the customers to provide more information and customize or configure your products. And people use it for all sorts of things. Like, it's very popular with restaurants because of things like choosing burger or pizza toppings, where you need to tick boxes and each one will add to the cost of the product rather than selecting variations. But the one that answers Seba's question is this smartphone product, where these options are actually other products from elsewhere in the store. So these phone cases, they're not options we added just for the smartphone. They are literally other products in the store. So when you buy a smartphone, you can think, yeah, I'd like to be upsold a case. And obviously that's good for the store owner. And they can choose things that way. So this is a use case for upselling, but it's also a good way of allowing people to create a bundle, because you can add these different categories of other options from your store. Like, imagine a clothing product where you're making up a whole outfit, for example. It might be like choose trousers, choose a hat, or something like that. And then you just click one add to cart button to add all the selected items to your cart. So I think that would be good. And you could use it on the same page as bulk variations, which Seba is already using. So for example, you'd have the bulk variations grid on this page. You would also be using WooCommerce Product Options to create these bundles where people click on the additional products that they want to add.
I think that's a very satisfactory answer there, Katie. It's
Hopefully.
definitely a very good use case for product options to create product bundles. And I remember maybe about a year ago, I made a video about that as well on our channel. So yeah, it's probably, as I would say, it's definitely a better integration than the default, or not default, but there is maybe some other plugin options for creating bundles, but they never seem to work as well. All right. So speaking of WooCommerce Product Options, I did want to jump into this next question from Francesca. Let me find that one. She had two questions.
Sorry, I clicked at the same time.
That's all right. Yeah. She had two questions. First one, how can I set the product's price in cart details next to the WooCommerce product name? Now, questions pertaining specifically to the cart and checkout are often to do with WooCommerce itself and not necessarily our plugins, although there are a couple of exceptions to that rule. Now, I'm wondering if this is a question more related to that and not related to our plugin. But Katie, do you have any insight on this? What
Yeah,
Francesca might be wondering?
I'm going to go to my cart now.
Mhm.
I'm not showing my screen, am I? So that's no
You
use
can,
at all.
yeah, you can do that in
It would
in a
help for you
second.
to see the screen. Right, so we're now on the cart page, and what WooCommerce Product Options has done is most of the options I added don't have a price, but this first one, this custom t-shirt, has added an extra 67 cents for adding text to the t-shirt. So we created an option and we added an additional fee to it. And that appears below, as you can see. And Francesca has said, can it appear next to the price? So that's not an option in WooCommerce Product Options. It appears below with the information about the option selected, but you could use some custom CSS or something like that to move that somewhere else if you wanted to do so.
Mm-hmm. All right, good. And then there's a second follow-up question, because she also left a live question, so maybe we should actually do that. Hi guys, is it possible to set the single product price in cart description? I would like to see showed the product price calculated with WooCommerce Product Options, but also the single product price near the title. Is that a CSS addition we can recommend?
It would be a customization because as you can see with this t-shirt, the price is being displayed as $20.67. So that's added on the 67 cents, which the text field added. So Francesca wants to be able to show what the original price of the t-shirt was, I think, which is not a feature. So you would need to do some customization work in order to retrieve the original price of the product and maybe display that in the price column, have the option price displayed elsewhere, and so on. So if you don't have a developer who can do that, then our customization service could send you a quote, but unfortunately that's not a built-in feature.
Alrighty, and then the final question from Francesca is, this is more in follow-up to the first one. Why, if I change the product's quantity in cart, the price doesn't change correctly? So this might be a question for support, actually.
Yeah, I think I figured out the problem now. I might be wrong, but I reckon I know what it is. So I'm going to go into an option group. So let's go into my pizza one and go into toppings. So this is where you add the options in the back end. So Francesca is saying that in the cart, when you change the quantity, I think she's saying the price of the options doesn't change correctly. So imagine if you had a pizza and you get charged $1 extra for extra mozzarella. And what I think Francesca might have done is added it as a flat fee. So a flat fee is only added to the product price once, regardless of quantity. So that means if you add one pizza to the cart, it will increase the price by $1. And if you then change the quantity of pizzas, the price for extra mozzarella will still be $1. So what she needs to do, I think, is choose quantity-based fee here instead, and then that will multiply up that dollar based on the quantity. If that's not the problem, then it could be a bug or something which you would need to report to our support. But a lot of people do get confused about flat versus quantity pricing.
Flat fee applies once, quantity fee applies per item. That's the basic
Exactly.
difference.
Yeah. Because people do both. There's lots of reasons why you might want a flat fee, but not for like this pizza use case, for example.
Yeah. Just because it's a brand new comment from John, I wanted to address this one, and I actually have it on my screen. I'll just share that now. So John, if you have the live preview plugin already and the product options, of course, then if you go into your media library and you click on any of the images that are already there, or you can add some new ones, there's this little set printable area button. And when I click on that, it's going to take me to this extra screen here. And for example, I can add a rectangle shape, and I can, mess around with the size and shape of that. And I can also set other image options, like whether or not the customer will be able to move the photo once they've added it, or anything like that. So that's in your media library, basically. So you can click on apply, or I'm going to cancel. Go into the media library and find any file once you've already, installed and activated the plugin. Yeah. Oh, and John says thank you. So I think that's answered the question. Cool.
Excellent.
Alrighty. We'll jump into
now
the next.
We've got Umesh's question, which is how many and what kind of products are capable of personalization with this product, so with WooCommerce Product Options. For example, selecting the font by customer for the text they want to add onto the products. So it works with all product types. It could be a simple product, it could be a variable product, or a digital product, whatever. So you can use it with any. You just add as many options as you want, and that then appears on the product page where the variation drop downs normally would. And if you're using live preview, which is the add-on that we were just talking about, you can add the file upload option, which is one of the field types that will work with the live preview. Currently, text doesn't work. So if the user is typing text into a field, that won't have a live preview, but we are working on that at the moment and we'll release it soon. But so it depends if he's using live preview. But yeah, there's no limits to what products or the number of options.
And soon can mean anything, right, Katie?
Oh, I don't give timescales for software releases. That's never
Yeah.
going to happen.
Alrighty. Should I jump into the next question then?
Yeah, we just had 2 more comments, so I'm wondering whether to go to either of them.
The
So
next one
John's
I have from John anyway, so I think I'll jump into his question now.
okay.
Yeah. If that's all right. I think it's the same John. Well, we should hope it's the same John at least. So John originally asked, is there a way in the product options plugin that you can make selecting a document, file, an option? So I came up with a strategy for this, which may work for you. And we'll go back to this smartphone product, actually, funny enough, to show you this case of adding a product to the product page. So you're adding a separate product. And what I suggest doing is, instead of just having a standard product, you create a digital product, add an upload, add a file to that digital product. So people can select it and effectively add it to their cart and then download the file once they've completed the purchase. That may be the best way to do this, because rather than bundling normal products, you can bundle files this way.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can talk about how to make a digital product in the back end. I do have a whole video about that on our YouTube channel as well. It's a big video about how to set up digital products. Any other thoughts about this, Katie?
Well, I think that he's added context with the live question, which is, what about a
Ah,
document from the document library? So you would have to manually create the digital product with the document, so that when somebody buys that document, then buys that digital product, it would send them the document. That wouldn't happen automatically. So he's providing more information, saying we use private art folders in Document Library Pro, which our team built for them. So yeah, you need to do a manual step unless you want us to build an automatic step, which would automatically create a digital product and then populate the URL of the file that you get when you buy it with
It depends though, Katie, because if he needs the file to be given to the customer after purchase only, that's one question. But if he just needs the files to be available anytime, even before purchase, then you could use product tabs and add the document library in there, right?
Yeah, that's true. So I suppose we're assuming that the customer needs to select a file when they're buying a WooCommerce product. If that's not the case, then yeah, you could just add it within a tab on the product page. We have a plugin for that. But yeah, I think John, and he's said that he'll talk to our team. They're amazing. Thank you. So I think this requires a bit more discussion about your specific requirements and the flow of when people will be selecting those documents and how that relates to the process of buying a product in WooCommerce. So it sounds like it would be possible and probably requires some customization, but we need to advise on exactly what would be required. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you for the comments and input, John. We really appreciate your interest in our plugins in general.
Yeah. And we have another question from Francesca, which is it possible to add SVG and ESP type files in upload rules in your product options plugin? So in terms of upload rules, I think you mean what file types can be uploaded to the file upload field. So when you create a file upload field in WooCommerce Product Options, you can enter the file types that would be accepted, including those. And I'd add to that, make sure your WordPress install supports those as well. So you may need to talk to your hosting company or something and say, can you allow SVG files on the site or whatever? So if WordPress and your file upload field supports that, then yes, customers can upload them.
Yeah, I'm just looking on my demo site and I'm not seeing SVG in our plugin. Is that because of the specific hosting setup?
Well, it's not like it's you enter the file type, so you would enter SVG and then PDF or ESP. So it's not like a select, it's just you enter whatever file types you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, got it.
So, so you go to the, I'm just looking for one, what has that
I'm
file
in the
type
image
name?
upload option type. It's
Yes. So have you found the file type option? So allowed file types. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah.
That is strange. Maybe you're right. Yeah, I hadn't realized it was a select. So maybe the WordPress install doesn't allow it or something.
Yeah, because we've done our best to include just about every possible file type that we can think of, but there are some. I know for a fact, yeah, SVG is kind of a weird one, maybe, but that's a good question. We can ask our developer and let you know.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, we should support that because SVGs are really useful, but it may well be that we can't see it on our demos because our WordPress installs don't support them. So yeah, get in touch with us if you are having problems allowing people to do that.
Mm-hmm. All right. We only have one more preset question. I'll bring that up now. I'm in the wrong. Oh, I'm in the right plugin. Yeah. I didn't add this one. Oh, because it got added later. That's why.
Oh,
I can just
okay. Well,
yeah, we can copy that in now. It's from Maria, and I'll just start reading it out. Maria says, "Can we select inventory on a per variable basis?" So using WooCommerce, we can integrate with Keep, but using Yith, which seems similar to you, we're not able to send the variable to products, only with the main product. And if you can parse what that means, Katie, then congratulations. You get to answer
right.
it.
I think I know. So very recently we added a new feature to WooCommerce Product Options where instead of creating the options directly in our plugin, you can select existing variations from your store and display them in our plugin as checkboxes or images or whatever style you like from our plugin. And I think the problem with Yith, and as far as I know, every other product option plugin on the market, is that they force you to create the options in the interface for their plugin. That means it is not a variation, and therefore it will not integrate with things like Keep or shipping solutions or anything, whatever you're using that integrates with variations. It won't work with the options from all the other plugins, which is why we added this recently to ours. So on Sam's demo here, you can see that instead of creating custom choices, which is an option, you can create choices using existing variation attributes. So here Sam selected color and it's pulled through all the color options, and you can, if you're creating swatches or something, then you can choose the color there and so on. So that is, I think, would be the solution for Maria, because even though it looks nice in the front end, this will look like color swatches, it won't look like variations. It is a variation. So when the customer orders that variation and it's attached to the WooCommerce order, it therefore will integrate with anything that integrates with variations, such as Keep.
And another cool little setting we have is that you can have thumbnails for each of the colors, for example, and you can select this box to update the main product image when a choice is selected, which is something that's already kind of being pulled from the variations. So when you're setting up, the variations in the first place, then you can set them up in our plugin, and yeah, it looks much better than the variations, but is still a variation, like Katie said.
Yeah, it's nice because if they select, say, a red square because they want a red t-shirt, then the main image could then update to show the actual picture of a red t-shirt, which is added to the variation. So it's a more visual way of buying things, which I think customers expect these days.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Right. I think we might be done then. There's no more live questions. So
Well, thank you guys so much for sending in your questions and joining us on this live stream. I'm just going to bring up a couple of notices for the future, things that are coming up. And thank you for updating. Our next live stream is coming up just before Easter. So it's on the Thursday, 17th of April. And I'll make sure that it's possible to register ahead of time on the website and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, you can also, what was I going to say? Yeah, you can always get in touch with us on Twitter or X. I guess we can start calling it that eventually.
Nah.
Nah, let's just keep calling it
Never
Twitter.
gonna happen.
Yeah, but we get one more comment. Is this new?
Yeah, we can do that.
Uh-huh.
Is it possible to set up a meeting to talk to one of your representatives about our site's needs? Yeah, that should be possible. So contact our support team and we can offer, we usually do 15-minute calls where we can talk more specifically about what you want.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. All right. Anything else you wanted to add before we
No, I
sign
think
off?
that's everything. Yeah. So yeah, everybody, thanks for watching and we'll hopefully see you again on the 17th of April. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.